solids is conduction. But when it comes to the case of when a fluid is having contact with some kind of solid surface, so fluid alone it will not flow. So while fluid is flowing, some supporting surface is required. So having different temperatures between the supporting solid surface and the fluid, from high temperature side to low temperature side, the heat transfer will commences. Suppose if the fluid has more temperature, if the fluid has more temperature, fluid to solid, the heat transfer will take place. Otherwise, if the solid has more temperature, solid to fluid, the heat transfer will take place. The flow may happen externally by having contact and internally by having contact also. Examples are shown here. So turbine blades, already we have seen steam at so and so pressure and temperature. So when allowed to expand over the turbine blades externally, so from the steam to turbine blades the energy will transmit. So the mode of heat transfer involved is convection. So time being you forget about forced or natural convection, but convection to understand there must be the contact or intimacy between fluid and the solid surface. So the same fluid will flowing through a pipe internally or a tube internally. So having different temperatures between the fluid and the tube surface, again also there may be convection to happen here. This is the warm wall we are saying. This is at high temperature through which the cold fluid is allowed to flow. Then from wall to fluid, the heat transfer will take place. Here also, the mode of mechanism involved is convection. Natural convection. What is the difference between this forced convection and the natural convection? So here, due to the introduction of external flow field, so the required pressure at maybe of 250 bar pressure externally that was raised, and so with those conditions it is allowed to enter into the blade surface. But whereas here in natural convection there will not be any inlet velocity. There will not be any inlet velocity. No inlet velocity is there means no question of introducing any fan or a blower or any compressor. So no external agencies are required to create the movement for the fluid. So whereas in the case of forced convection, externally with the help of some so mechanical agencies are mechanical components. So those will help us to create the momentum for the fluids. Whereas in the case of natural convection, no external mechanical systems are used for creation of momentum in the fluids. Fluids by creating the momentum and having contact with the solid surface, so then the heat transfer will take place between the surface and the fluid. So if that is naturally happening, how is it possible naturally the movement creation? So when fluid of low temperature comes on to a solid surface of high temperature, so here at the entry level, so after touching this hot surface, so the temperature will increase for the fluid molecules and then density will decrease, then that will become lighter, so naturally it goes up. By becoming the lighter, it naturally goes up. The next molecule which is at a high density, so once again when that comes in contact with this solid surface, that also will increase the temperature, again reduces the density, that goes up. This is how naturally the fluid momentum is created. So convection happens due to bulk movement of the fluid particles. Convection happens due to bulk movement. So when fluid particles are moving more in number over the solid surface, and from the solid to fluid or from the fluid to solid, the heat transfer will take place. The same is also another example we can see for natural convection. By creating the density difference from the bottom of the chimney to top of the chimney, naturally flue gases by becoming lighter, they will be escaped through that. Flue gases by having hot in the sense, from flue gases to the chimney wall will receive the heat, again from the chimney wall it will be dissipated into the atmosphere by having contact. So this is how the convection heat transfer will take place. In the case of forced convection, so with the introduction of some mechanical means means by switching on the fan or a blower or a compressor, so that is some velocity field is created that will be responsible for causing the fluid momentum. Whereas in the natural convection, so the natural way, that is due to temperature rise from entry level to exit level, the density difference is created. The density difference alone will make the fluid particles to travel on their own. So from the entry level to exit level, due to decrease in density, in this direction the density will decrease. So that is what, by becoming lighter, naturally the circulation will take place. So this is how, so the mechanism of convection will take place. So the mechanism taken place between a solid surface and the fluid, that was explained by Newton. So Newton's law of cooling or heating, we call it as in convective heat transfer. This is what I am telling you. Due to bulk fluid motion, so the heat transfer takes place between the fluid and the solid surface. What is the amount of heat that has transferred between the fluid and the solid surface? That relation was mathematically proposed by Newton. So that equation is called as Newton's law of cooling or heating also. Q convection equal to H into A. This is wall temperature or solid surface temperature minus fluid temperature. We assume that both are constant. Throughout the surface, uniform temperature is maintained. Throughout the fluid also, we assume that uniform temperature is maintained. Then the amount of heat transferred from the solid surface to fluid, that is equal to HA minus dW minus T infinity. Suppose if the fluid has more temperature, this must be taken as T infinity minus TW. So the description of the terminology also I have given. A equal to convective area. Convective area means contact area between the fluid and the solid. So H is the convective heat transfer coefficient, TW is the solid surface temperature, T infinity is the fluid temperature. So this is what, being the difference of temperature, either the difference may be taken in degree centigrade or in degree Kelvin also. Even if you take it in degree Kelvin also, so one time we are adding plus 273, immediately we are subtracting plus 273. So there is no difference whether we are taking it in degree centigrade or degree Kelvin. What is the unit for heat transfer coefficient is watt per meter square Kelvin. So the unit for thermal conductivity we have seen is, so for solids, watt per meter Kelvin. So from the electrical analogy, by rearranging the terminologies, Q convection equal to delta T by R convection, the same equation by writing. So whatever is appeared in the denominator, that is R convection equal to 1 by HA. So this is of, so convective heat transfer coefficient. So that is, so from hereafter this convective heat transfer coefficient we must call it as average convective heat transfer coefficient. And average why we are using, so is there any other coefficient? So definitely there is one more coefficient called as local convective heat transfer coefficient also. So hereafter two different thermal heat transfer, convective heat transfer coefficient we will come across. One is average convective heat transfer coefficient and another is local convective heat transfer coefficient. How to estimate the local convective heat transfer coefficient, how to estimate the average convective heat transfer coefficient, that we will see. But here in this equation, whatever H is presented here, that represents the average convective heat transfer coefficient. That means from the starting of the, so contact point to, from the starting of the contact point to here, starting of the contact point to ending of the contact point, so there is, so different values of H values at different locations. So taking the average of all those H values, which we say it as average convective heat transfer coefficient. So average convective heat transfer coefficient means when whole surface is considered, so then we consider the estimation of average heat transfer coefficient. If that is not the case at any local level, maybe at this level or maybe at this level or maybe at this level or maybe at this level, or even for the blade also at this level or at this level or at this level or at this level, at different locations of the solid surface, individually the heat transfer coefficient is estimated. Those are considered to be local convective heat transfer coefficients. So but while estimating the total heat transferred, so between the solid surface and the surrounding fluid, you need to estimate all the times average convective heat transfer coefficient. We have not used this terminology while we were discussing in the beginning of the classes. So there, so whatever Q equal to HA minus HA into TS minus or TW minus T infinity we were writing, indirectly this H represents average heat transfer coefficient between the surface and the fluid. That is not the local heat transfer coefficient. And the definitions also, that those are mentioned here. External flows means by having contact externally and if the flow is taken place. By having contact internally, the flow is continued. Forced convection means you see here with the introduction of some pump or flow blower or fan. So if the velocity field is imposed on the fluid movement, so that is what is forced convection. Externally the velocity is, so that is given or supplied. So that such kind of convection problems are forced convection problems. Natural convection means, So without any external mechanisms, without the assistance of, you see here, without the assistance of any external mechanism, so and by creating the density difference, this is what is change in density you see here. With the creation of change in density, naturally the fluid momentum is created and the heat transfer will take place. In some cases, both are also maybe so adapted and to be used. So that is what is mixed convection we say. So the few examples I have mentioned, in the case of natural convection, the expected value of heat transfer coefficient, the average heat transfer coefficient is in the range of 3 to 20 if gases we are using. Suppose water if we are using as a fluid, 60 to 900 we may get it for natural convection. Under forced convection you see the same gases when are moved under external velocities, so the heat transfer coefficient may be expected at 30 to 300. You see here by how many times it is increased? 10 times. So with the imposing of external velocity fields, the heat transfer coefficients are increased from natural convection to forced convection. So this is what is. Still if you go for boiling and condensation, boiling and condensation also, known example is water taken into a container. When you start heating it, the very bottommost layer upon receiving of the heat, the water at this level initially after receiving heat, so they will increase the temperature more than 100 degrees centigrade, will convert to bubbles, they start rising to the top. So that is how the convection currents or the fluid movements are created, transferring heat from the bottommost layer to topmost layer. In those cases, the expected value of heat transfer coefficient is 3000 to even so up to 1 lakh also we can get the heat transfer coefficient when you go for boiling, which is nothing but a phase change heat transfer also we call it as. There will be simultaneously liquid will be available, some part of vapor bubbles also will be presented. So here if the heat transfer is continued with the two phases, liquid and vapor, so the heat transfer coefficients are very high. So this is what is the advantage of converting to, so what is that phase change from liquid to vapor. In the case of condensation, so by reducing the temperature for vapor that get condensed over a solid surface and flows over the surface. If the solid is of at low temperature, vapor is of at high temperature, when comes in contact, vapor by dropping the temperature gets condensed, flows over the surface. In this case also the expected value of heat transfer coefficient. So during condensation, both phases are in existence. Both vapor will be in existence, liquid also will be in existence. In that case, the expected values of heat transfer coefficient is again 3000 to 1 lakh watt per meter square Kelvin also. That means, so during boiling and condensation, more heat transfers are possible to be taken place. If H value is more means heat transferred in the form of convection is very high. That is the meaning. So that is what we have described. When you go to other slide, so next is of the behavior of the fluid. So will it be same while flowing over the solid surface? Definitely will not be same. Suppose, so under forced convection, if a fluid of free stream velocity, free stream means before allowed to enter onto the solid surface, the velocity available with the fluid is u infinity, the temperature available with the fluid is T infinity, that is called as free stream temperature, free stream velocity. U infinity means that is free stream velocity. This is purely for the fluid. So before entering onto the solid surface, these are the properties prevailed. So the velocity available with the fluid is u infinity, the temperature available with the fluid is T infinity. That can be seen in the next diagram also. Then, so it is allowed to enter onto the plate of some temperature Tw, then how the flow behaves. So here in a small region close to this of the plate, in a small region close to this of the plate, you see here, here to here, here to here, or here to here, or here to here. So that is the behavior of the fluid will be different. Above this line, the fluid behavior will be different. Above this line, the fluid behavior will be different. Below this of the line and between the plate, the fluid behavior will be different. So what is the change of behavior? After entering onto this of the plate surface, so we can treat the fluid as combination of n layers of the fluid particles. So the very first layer of the fluid particles, when they enter onto this of the solid surface, they will stick to the surface. Already the plate is in static condition, it is not moving. Therefore, by sticking to the plate surface, the very first layer of the fluid particles also will attain the same velocity of the plate, that means zero velocity. From there onwards, next layer of the fluid particles, they start to move over the first layer, where the first layer particles are, no motion is there. We call that condition as no slip condition. So when there is no velocity is observed for the fluid particles, after sticking to the surface, we say those layers of particles are under no slip condition. No slip conditions means if fluid particles doesn't have any velocity after sticking, so then no slip condition is attained. So then the next layer of the fluid particle will start to travel over the first layer, but the first layer is saying that no, I have already taken I'm at a rest condition, I'm not moving at all. Where do you go? It will drag it. So therefore next layer also will try to decrease the velocity from u infinity. So therefore the velocity will be reduced. So for the second layer the velocity will be reduced. So the third layer will flowing on the third layer over the second layer. So already the lesser velocity in the second layer will test the third layer that no, you also move along with me, don't go at a speed of u infinity. Therefore the third layer also will decrease its velocity. Then this is how, so within this of the, what is that, this thick line of some separation region, the velocity keeps on changing. The velocity keeps on changing at any section of the plate, maybe here or maybe here or maybe here or maybe here. So the velocity varies from 0 to at a height of something where the velocity again is same as that of free stream velocity. If you identify all such heights at a different locations of the plates, by identifying the locations where the velocities are same as that of free stream velocities and joining all those points by a thick line, we get a separate curve called as velocity boundary layer. Velocity boundary layer or hydrodynamic boundary layer also we call it as. The fluid behavior within this boundary layer is different. The fluid behavior above the boundary layer is different. So here the velocity change is continuously taking place from 0 to u infinity, from 0 to u infinity, from 0 to u infinity. The normal direction or vertical direction if you take it as y, so along the plate direction if you take it as x, so there is the velocity gradient we call it as. Gradient means du by dy. So change of velocity is there in vertical direction, that means velocity gradient is there. Du by dy is the velocity gradient we call it as. So there is a continuous change of velocity, so as the vertical direction is changing. So what is the value of vertical direction at plate surface? Here y equal to 0. What is y equal to something at this level? That is equal to delta. So that is what is velocity boundary layer thickness. So the height where the velocity of the fluid is observed to be same as that of the free stream velocity. So the height where at any location of the plate, so the where the velocity of the fluid particles is same as that of the free stream velocity, all such heights we call it as boundary layer thickness. Velocity boundary layer thickness. Velocity boundary layer thickness is represented by delta. So this is what is velocity boundary layer thickness or hydrodynamic boundary layer thickness. Suppose if the length of the solid surface is too longer, different phases of fluid flow will take place. Laminar region, transition region and turbulent region. So what is the characteristics of fluid flow during the laminar region? In the laminar region, very orderly flow will take place. Suppose the fluid particles are moving in a straight line means, so up to this laminar region, all layers of the fluid particles travel in the same linear direction only. So the pattern of fluid streams will remain same. The pattern of fluid streams will remain same. So during transition, so there is a change of pattern from uniform pattern to some other pattern, some zigzag or random movement of the fluid particles will take place into the turbulent region. In the turbulent region, so there is no specific direction of the fluid movement. Some particles may move in this direction, some particles may travel in the backward direction, some particles may travel in the upward direction, some particles may travel in the downward direction. So there is no specific direction of the fluid movement observed in the turbulent region of the fluid flow. So that will be observed when two longer of the solid surface are available. So turbulent region also will come across. Otherwise, laminar region is maximum. So we will see for the fluid flow over a surface. As we have seen that fluid mechanics we might have studied. So when there is the velocity gradient from this point to this point, there is a change of velocity. That means du is there in a height of y equal to delta. Here y equal to 0, here y equal to delta. Here y equal to 0, here y equal to delta. Here y equal to 0, here y equal to delta. So therefore du by dy, it is there within the boundary layer. That means due to existence of elastic gradient within the boundary layer, there is the possibility of developing some shear stresses. So that is what we have seen. Tau equal to mu into du by dy. So that means shear stresses are that is induced. So whatever the fluid layers are available within this boundary layer, they will experience the shear stresses. Above this layer, above the hydrodynamic boundary layer, the fluid particles will not experience any shear stresses. The behavior of the fluid particles here is different. The behavior of the fluid particles here is different. So they will be experiencing the shear stresses. No shear stress will be seen above the boundary layer. So that is the meaning of the finding of elastic boundary layer or hydrodynamic boundary layer. Above this boundary layer, so you can apply this what is that Bernoulli's equation, all known relations which we have studied in fluid mechanics we can apply, but within the boundary layer, so the Bernoulli's equation cannot be applied. Different way we have to use. So the equations that are applied for this analysis of the fluid flow is, that is continuity equation and momentum equation and energy equations. Solving those equations simultaneously, so it's very tedious problems. There is no single relation to solve the problem. So that is why solving convection problems, solving continuity equation, solving momentum equation, solving energy equation, and also while flowing over the plate surface, there may be the change of pressure also, there may be change of thermal conductivity also, there may be change of density also. All these effects by taking, and if you want to get the solution, so for the estimation of heat transfer, very tedious task it is for us for estimation of heat transfer coefficients or heat transfer rates. So that is why no analytical solutions are available for any of the convection problems. We must go for using only empirical correlations. Empirical correlations means under what conditions, and that means at what velocity and at what temperature, and with what temperature of the solid surface the fluid flow is happening, then what is the heat transfer coefficient, experimentally we will calculate that by using, so we will try to estimate the heat transfer rate. So that is what empirical relations means, the relations, mathematical relations that are obtained based on the experimental values. Based on the experimental values, we call these equations as empirical relations. So that is what. So up to some region of fluid flow, laminar flow is taken place by the fluid particles. So within the boundary layer, so sometimes the fluid particles may describe the laminar flow. So then it may follow so transition flow. Transition means is a change of flow. The conversion is happening from laminar to turbulent. Laminar to turbulent, the conversion change is happening. So that is what is the meaning. So this will not be existed for a longer distance. Maybe for a smaller distance it will be existed and will not continue for long time also. So immediately after the laminar region, turbulent region will enter. In the turbulent region, there is no specific direction of the fluid particles. So randomly the fluid particles will be moving. In the case of laminar region, the fluid particles will travel in the well-defined, along the well-defined flow streams. So if a straight line is followed by all particles, means all straight lines are followed by all layers of the fluid particles. If curve is some sinusoidal curve is followed by very first layer, so the second layer also follows the similar pattern. Third layer also follows the similar pattern within the boundary layer. That is what is the meaning of laminar region maintained by the fluid particles. Turbulent region means very random motion of the fluid particles is taken place here. That is what is. So how do we decide mathematically up to what length of the solid surface laminar region is carried out? So that is by the estimation of Reynolds number. One will calculate that. So what is that Reynolds number value is? This is Reynolds number equal to, that is, so rho Vd by mu, rho Vd by mu. Otherwise also mu by rho can be taken as mu. So that is kinematic viscosity. So Reynolds number critical, that is equal to, so this is the position where, so the laminar is converting to turbulent region. So up to what distance of the plate? This is x equal to critical distance. So what is the significance of considering this critical distance is, that is the distance up to which laminar flow is existed. So laminar flow existed, so that was found practically that, so up to a Reynolds number value of 5 into 10 to the power 5. So when fluid is flowing externally, for a Reynolds number value of 5 into 10 to the power 5, up to what distance of external surface, the Reynolds number value equal to 5 into 10 to the power 5. Up to that distance, laminar flow takes place. Afterwards, turbulent flow will take place. That is the meaning. You see here, So this is the position of the plate. So where we can see the laminar flow is ending. That is the significance of x critical. So what is this U infinity? Free stream velocity. What is kinematic viscosity? This is kinematic viscosity of the fluid. So what is critical Reynolds number? That is 5 into 10 to the power 5. So this by taking here new value. So that is kinematic viscosity of the fluid, free stream velocity of the fluid that is flowing over the plate. These by substituting, then up to what distance so the laminar flow existed we can decide. So that is how we can describe the separation of regions. Up to what distance laminar flow will take place, up to what distance, from what distance onwards turbulent flow will take place, we can decide. So this is what is. Next, the same is also explained in detail in another diagram also. You see here before entering onto the of the plate surface, the fluid has uniform velocity, that is free stream velocity. After entering into this of the plate, so then gradually there is a development of boundary layer thickness. So once we enter into the, so this is turbulent region, a flat surface is provided for the boundary layer, a very flat surface. You see, so this is what is random motion you can see for the fluid particles. Some are moving this way, some are moving this way, some are moving this way. You see the particles. Whereas here all particles are one particular pattern are followed by this. Whereas here no particular pattern is followed by this one. That is what is the case. So that is why. So here there is also the development of boundary layer thickness is continuously increases along the plate surface or the bound solid surface at leading edge. The edge where the fluid enters here is called as leading edge. The edge where that leaves from the plate is trailing edge. This is what is trailing edge. This is what is leading edge. Laminar flow followed by transition flow followed by turbulent flow. Again in the turbulent flow also there are three more regions. So close to this of the plate surface, three regions are there. Laminar sublayer, buffer layer, complete turbulent core. Laminar sublayer means even though we are in turbulent region, in a very thick layer, so the fluid particles follow. So that is change of velocity within these fluid particles linearly, very linearly. So this is so linearly the velocity varies in this region. Buffer layer means that is the transition region. After the buffer region, so randomly the velocities are changed in the turbulent region. So that is what is the description of hydrodynamic boundary layer or so velocity boundary layer. When it comes to the other kind of boundary layer, that is thermal boundary layer. So thermal boundary layer is represented by so delta suffix T, that is thermal boundary layer. So that was velocity boundary layer delta. This is thermal boundary layer delta of suffix T. This is thermal boundary layer. What is the thermal boundary layer definition here is after the fluid has come in contact with this of the solid surface, solid is at a temperature of Ts. Solid is at a temperature of Ts. You see here the solid is at a temperature of T infinity. You see the solid is at a temperature of Ts. So then when fluid particles have come in contact, the very first layer of the fluid that has sticked to the surface, which we are saying it has no slip condition, that also will attain the same temperature of plate or the solid. Even though fluid before entering onto the solid surface, it has the temperature of how much? So that is T infinity, that is free stream temperature. After entering onto the plate surface, the very first layer, so T infinity also will be equalized with the Ts. That is what? T infinity for the fluid for the first layer is same as that of Ts. From there onwards, so then the fluid temperature is raised here, then that started all those fluid particles. So at the first fluid layer, whatever all the fluid particles are there, they started to transfer so in the upward direction. So then that there will be a continuous, so that is change of temperature in the top layers. So then second layer, so that will receive the heat from the first layer. So then so the temperature will change. Again from the second layer to third layer, the temperature will change. So third layer to fourth layer, the temperature will change. Fourth layer to next layer will be changing. The height where in the normal direction or the perpendicular direction, the height where again the fluid particles temperature, at what height the fluid particles temperature is same as that of the free stream temperature T infinity. So the fluid temperature at this level is Ts, the fluid temperature at this level is T infinity. The heights where the fluid temperatures are same as that of the free stream temperatures, by identifying all such free stream temperatures and joining those heights, we will be getting the curve called as thermal boundary layer. The thermal boundary layer is represented by delta T. This is delta suffix T. So hydrodynamic boundary layer is represented by simple delta, whereas this is represented by delta suffix T. That is thermal boundary layer. So what is the other diagram it is saying here is, this is the difference of temperature between the fluid and the solid. So the very first layer of the fluid also has the same temperature of the plate, means what is the difference of temperature? 0. So that is why from 0 to gradually temperature gradient is existed in the upward direction. So that is what is the difference of temperature keeps on changing in the upward direction. The height where the difference of temperature is 99% of the, so that is difference of temperature between the solid and the free stream temperature. That heights we will take it as thermal boundary layers. So that is what is I have mentioned here. You see here the fluid temp. So this is the fluid temperature minus plate temperature. This is free stream temperature minus solid temperature. That is equal to 0.99. At what height? So this ratio is valid. All those heights by joining, we will be getting the thermal boundary layers. So thermal boundary layers. So that is the meaning of thermal boundary layer development and velocity boundary layer developments. So here the very first layer, after sticking to the solid surface, that will attain the temperature same as that of the solid. From there onwards the temperature gradually decreases. So then after this there will not be any heat transfer. Above this of the thermal boundary layer there will not be any heat transfer. The heat transfer will take place only the fluid lying within the thermal boundary layer. So that is from surface to up to this region of the fluid layer only the flow will heat transfer will take place. Above this there is not heat transfer. There is no heat transfer at all. Above the thermal boundary layer there is no heat transfer. So therefore we must concern about thermal boundary layers. Why we have to concern means, so this is responsible for transfer of heat from the solid to fluid. So these layers of the fluid will not be responsible for transfer of heat, as there is no heat transfer in these layers. Only heat transfer within these layers only is observed. We just see here. So we are saying that thermal boundary layer we have discussed, velocity boundary layer also we have discussed. So the same is, so the definition of those velocity boundary layers. The velocity of the fluid which reaches approximately equal to 99% of the free stream velocity. So those thicknesses we are calling them as velocity boundary layer thickness. What is the thermal boundary layer thickness? The height where this ratio is equal to 0.99 or 99%. Those heights are considered to be thermal boundary layer thickness. So that is what is the meaning. So after knowing, so that means the behavior of the fluid within the boundary layer is different. So the fluid within the boundary layer only is responsible for transfer of heat from the solid surface to, so that is solid surface to fluid. Only this portion of fluid only is responsible for transfer of heat from solid to fluid. This portion of fluid above this layer to any height also, if the fluid is flowing in this region, there will not be any heat transfer. Why? Because there is no temperature gradient in this region. Only temperature gradient is existent. Temperature gradient means in the vertical direction, here to here there is some height, so there is a temperature difference also. That is what is dt by dy, we call it as temperature gradient. To expect the heat transfer to be taken place, there must be some temperature gradient to be existed. That is possible only within the thermal boundary layer. So that is why it has necessitated to find the thermal boundary layer and velocity boundary layers. So that is what is the meaning. The definition also I have explained you. The height where the velocities are same as that of free stream velocities, 99% of free stream velocities, those heights we are mentioning as hydrodynamic boundary layer. The height where the temperatures are same as that of free stream temperatures, those heights we are saying them as thermal boundary layers. So next, few more things we will know about the, so that is, so the same we have discussed here, velocity boundary layer, thermal boundary layer. Afterwards, so one more important relative heights between velocity boundary layer and thermal boundary layer. This delta represents velocity boundary layer, this delta t represents thermal boundary layer. In this case, so this is representing the thermal boundary layer. In this case, this is representing the velocity boundary layer. In the first diagram, the velocity boundary layer is shown at higher level than the thermal boundary layer. In the second diagram, thermal boundary layer is shown at higher level than the thermal boundary layer. Under what situations this is possible? So that is explained from the definition of Prandtl number. So this development of boundary layers that was explained by the scientist called as Prandtl, Prandtl, Prandtl. So on his name, the theory of boundary layer was developed by and explained by Prandtl on his name. So that is name. The number is called as Prandtl number also. If the Prandtl number is greater than 1, if the Prandtl number is less than 1. If the Prandtl number is greater than 1, if the Prandtl number is less than 1. If the Prandtl number is greater than 1 means high viscous fluids or lubricant oils otherwise. Prandtl number is less than 1 means that is liquid metals. Prandtl number is less than 1 means so that is 0.1, 0.2, 0.4, 0. Anything it may be. So this is so Prandtl number less than 1 we will see for liquid metals. Prandtl number greater than 1 we will see for so high lubricant oils, high viscous lubricant oils, high viscous lubricant oils. Prandtl number is represented by nu by alpha, nu. So Prandtl number is represented PR equal to nu. So kinematic viscosity by alpha. Alpha means thermal diffusivity. Prandtl number equal to nu, kinematic viscosity of the fluid by alpha, thermal diffusivity of the fluid. If thermal diffusivity nu by rho, so that is Prandtl number equal to nu by alpha. So nu by alpha. Prandtl number equal to nu by alpha. If that is greater than 1, this situation will occur. So if Prandtl number nu by alpha, if it is less than 1, so this situation will occur. This kind of situation is observed for high viscous lubricant oils. This situation is observed for liquid metals where Prandtl numbers are less than 1. So nu by alpha means momentum diffusivity to thermal diffusivity. The definition of Prandtl number that is equal to nu by alpha, that also can be written as ratio between momentum diffusivity by thermal diffusivity. So that means momentum diffusivity is more. Momentum diffusivity is more means velocity dominance is more. Therefore, at higher heights, so the velocity boundary layer or thermal hydrodynamic boundary layers are lying. So in this case, momentum diffusivity is high or hydrodynamic boundary layers are. That means compared to temperatures at this level, so the velocities are more. Therefore, due to higher velocities, the boundary layer developments are also higher. So in this case, what will be nu by alpha is less than 1. That means thermal diffusivity is more compared to momentum diffusivity. That means compared to velocity field, the temperature field is dominating. So due to more temperature, this is higher thermal boundary layers are observed. Higher thermal boundary layers are observed. This kind of boundary layer phenomena we will observe for liquid metals. This kind of boundary layer developments we will see for high viscous lubricant oils. In the case of Prandtl number equal to 1, then delta equal to deltas. Hydrodynamic boundary layer is same as that of thermal boundary layer. This kind of situation we will come across when gases are flowing over the solid surfaces. When gases, that may be of any gas, so then Prandtl number equal to 1. In that case, velocity boundary layer equal to thermal boundary layer thickness. So this is what we can see. See, Prandtl has proposed few more equations also to be applied for boundary layers. So boundary layer flows within the boundary layer. So these are the approximations he has proposed. So what is this boundary layer approximations he has proposed here is boundary layer approximations. Delta, hydrodynamic boundary layer or thermal boundary layer thickness. So either the hydrodynamic boundary layer or velocity boundary layer and the thermal boundary layer, so they are much lesser than that of the actual length of the plate or the solid surface. This is called as characteristic length also. So this is called as actual length of the solid surface. So when compared to this of the actual length of the solid surface, the height of thermal boundary layer, the height of the velocity boundary layer are much lesser. That is the meaning. So the height of the velocity boundary layer and the height of the thermal boundary layers are much lesser than that of the plates. So that is what is. You see here in the diagram, you see when this is considered to be characteristic length. So the original contact length of the plate is, that is length of the plate. So what about delta T and delta values? When compared to this delta T and delta are much lesser. That is the meaning. So then what about the other relation the Prandtl has proposed? So that is u is much greater than that of v. This is the velocity of the flow in x direction. See, when the fluid flow is taking place over the flat surface, along x also there will be the flow, along y also there will be the flow. Along x, what is the flow velocity? Along y, what is the flow velocity? So the flow velocity in x direction is much higher than that of the flow velocity along y direction. This has to be used. So for the boundary layer flows. So this is what is dou u by dou y is much greater than that of dou u by dou x. So that means velocity gradient in normal direction. Vertical direction is much greater than that of velocity gradient in x direction. There is no change of velocity in x direction. The velocity gradient is only in vertical direction. So that is what is the meaning. So there is also temperature gradient in y direction compared to that of x direction. There is no temperature change in x direction, but whereas temperature change is only in y direction, perpendicular to the plate direction only. And also one more assumption he has made. So that is dou p by dou y equal to 0. In y direction for the fluid particles, there is no change of pressure. So there is no change of pressure for between the fluid layers in vertical direction. Only in x direction change of pressure will be seen. So change of pressure will be seen in x direction. No change of pressure will be seen in y direction. So these are the approximations we have to apply while solving the equations for boundary layer flows. So that is what is the case. And one more thing also we have seen already. So the relation between average heat transfer coefficient and local heat transfer coefficient. I told you local heat transfer coefficient is different. Average heat transfer coefficient also is different. What is the relation between local heat transfer coefficient and average heat transfer coefficient that we are trying to derive now? So when you know the heat flux value, how do you get the heat transfer rate? Heat flux into area. Suppose if this is the actual area of the solid, the actual area of the solid over which the fluid of temperature T infinity is flowing by assuming, so then heat flux equal to heat transfer rate by in a small region of the solid surface. In a small region of the small solid surface, what is the heat flux? Q into what is the area here? dA. Q into dA is the heat transfer rate in this region. So if I want to get the heat transfer rate for the whole surface, I must integrate over the whole area. So what is the heat flux in a small region? That is the temperature difference between the solid temperature and the fluid. So that is Ts minus T infinity into dA, H into Ts minus T infinity. So that is what is. So where this H value is local heat transfer coefficient. So this H value in this case, whatever the H we have considered for a small region, whatever the H that is considered and calculated for a small region, that is what is known as local heat transfer coefficient. Whatever the H is calculated for the whole area, so that is what is known as average heat transfer coefficient that we are trying to derive. So what is the relation then? So we also know that when you know the average heat transfer coefficient as H bar, Q equal to H bar A into Ts minus T infinity. Therefore, what is the relation between average heat transfer coefficient and the local heat transfer coefficient? So the integration of all such local heat transfer coefficient divided by total area of the, so what is that, a solid surface, which gives the average heat transfer coefficient. The same thing only it is written here. The same thing only it is written in this relation. You just see here. Average heat transfer coefficient equal to, suppose if the width of the plate is 1, therefore area becomes L into 1 means 1. L into 1 means L, that is 1 by L into, so 0 to L H into dx. This is what is, where this H equal to local heat transfer coefficient and this H value equal to average heat transfer coefficient. So that is what is. So hope we have understood this. So these are the very required fundamentals for the convection. Hope we have understood. I will be closing here. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, sir. Chapel, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Hope we have understood, and I will be sharing these PPTs also with you then. These by knowing all problems
Okay, sir. Thank you,
can be
sir.
understood. All problems can be understood. So not more than this is required, and knowing this much information only, so you can work out all the problems in future exams. So when we have taken
Sir, you have shared.
which one?
Hello. Sir, you have shared the problems also, sir.
Yeah, definitely we will discuss. More of the problems we have to
Okay,
practice here. More of the
okay, sir.
problems we have to practice here. Okay. Thank you.